for being such a young event, is that we have amazing potential to grow. And so, we market it as this, the affluent but it's not a pretentious event. It is super chill, super fun to attend. It is something special.
This is festivalPass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next. All right, friends, welcome back. This is the festivalPass Stories podcast, where we are always presented by Dos Hombres, the artisanal mezcal meant to be shared, created by Aaron Paul and Brian Cranston. Have a drink on us, or with us, I should say, at doshombres.com/deliver. Now, they should say have a drink on us as well, right? It'd be nice if those guys bought us a drink. Speaking of which, you ever wanted to have the opportunity to invest in a product early? That could be the next Airbnb. Learn why entrepreneurs and celebrities with exits approaching $10 billion. That's big billion. Have already invested in festivalPass. Go to invest.festivalpass.com to learn more. Well, friends, my guest today comes to us from the city by the bay. Well, close to this San Francisco city by the bay. I was going to sing it, give the full journey experience with the city by the bay. But the people that watch and listen to this podcast have said, hey, Pat, look, love the conversations. Let's leave it at that. Okay. Leave, the old joke. Who sings that song, Journey? Well, let's keep it that way. So we are going to keep it that way. And we're going to say hello to one of the board members of the Corks Forks Rhythm and Brews Festival. Very clever. Very clever. Rhythm and Brews. Oh, I can't get enough of that. Can't wait to hear more of it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kristen Thorson. Kristen, welcome to the program. Welcome to festivalPass Stories. How are things today on the West Coast?
They are great. Thank you, Pat, for having me today. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about the event.
Yeah, and this is going to be it's very exciting. You guys are going to be back live, so we're going to get into that as so many other festivals are back live, and that's what's so exciting about festivalPass and everything going on is that now if there's always these buzzwords that are or buzz phrases, pent up demand is the buzz phrase of the moment right now. And people are like, I don't want to hear about this variant. I want to get out there. I want to get to as many festivals as possible. And this is one that we're really excited about because it's around the corner. Yes. And I don't mean to stress you out that it's around the corner. It's 2 months away. It's 8 weeks. All right. It's like the countdown begins. So we're going to get in. Yeah. And we'll get into that countdown. Maybe we should put a countdown clock on the screen here so everybody can see exactly how long they have to get tickets. But friends, we will let you know how you can get tickets to this great Alameda County Festival here. And now, you started your career in healthcare, and I would imagine that the skills of communications, operations, facility management, and relationship building come in handy when you're planning. And I love that you called this your side gig. I mean, come on, you're planning a full-time festival, just planning this, having a good time here with this extra little side gig. Some people have Uber for a side gig. You're planning a massive festival, a high-end festival, but seriously, all these skills, you're like, I can do this. I can do this on the side, and I'm going to make Corks Forks Rhythm and Brews, gotta say that right, festival a big success. So I guess a big question besides the organizational side of it, how did you get so deeply involved in this event?
So funny story. My husband actually.
First of all, yes, thank you, because all we want to hear are funny and great stories on festivalPass Stories.
My husband actually volunteered me. He came home one night, and this was back when we were doing annual fundraising and a gala type event. Your traditional dinner, auction, live auction, dancing, music, and everything like that. Something you're very well familiar with. And he's at the office, and there were some board members that worked in his office, and he's like, they were looking for volunteers. So I said, you'd help. And just over the course of the years, I get involved with event planning. I planned a Relay for Life event with the American Cancer Society. And so for some reason, I just migrate towards that. I like the details, the back end planning, making sure it's a smooth event, everybody has fun, all of that.
So your husband volunteers you. He's like, she loves doing this kind of stuff. She's doing Relay for Life with American Cancer. We're just going to add one more thing to her repertoire here. But how did this festival idea come to life? Who's the brainchild behind this to get it off the ground? Only in its second live year, although third year. Virtual counts, folks. Sure does. They raised money. They had fun.
So we have, our board. We have all these committees. We have a board development committee, executive committee, and our gala, which had been running strong for 33 years.
Wow.
And hugely successful event every year. But there was a capacity limit on how much bigger we could grow it because of the venue, right? You only can have X amount of people in a room. And so since, it was a great event, 33 years, we looked at one of our board retreats to see, what else could we do and move away from the gala, but into something else. And we looked at outdoor, kind of an outdoor event, something that was a little bit more casual, right? Even if it's not black tie, even though people like to get dressed up. So, and so we threw out some ideas and started going towards this Corks Forks Rhythm and Brews. We also have a great connection with Fast Forward. They put on the San Diego Bay Food Wine Festival. And so they brought some great expertise in planning support and continue to do so to get this off the ground.
But 33 years of the gala, was this something that was put on for the Boys and Girls Clubs by volunteers and friends, or was this is all led by the club?
All led by the club. So we have some really amazing staff members that are putting in the day-to-day work, and then we have our board members and volunteers that put that extra time in to, solicit sponsors and vendors and exhibitors and, even with the gala auction items and all of that. So it is definitely volunteer driven, but have also great support from the club staff.
Well, I heard that is one of your fortes is working directly with the exhibitors, with the vendors themselves. So I saw some COVID protocols and so on for getting back live. But I mean, did you write all these things, or did you work with like a legal team on that? Or are you when the vendors, they know that you're the gatekeeper and they better follow your rules? Is this what's happening here?
And so again, Fast Forward, they have a tremendous amount of history in the San Diego area. And so, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we utilize a lot of, their resources, but tailored it to our event. And with the COVID protocols, we bounced that around to make sure that, we were being, upfront, because still, even though we want to come out, it looks like we're getting looped back into the pandemic. But, hopefully we are fingers crossed to get people out to this live event in October.
So 33 years of the gala, and now 2.5 years, if you will, because there was the virtual version of it. But now this is a staple on the Bay Area food and wine scene. Yeah. And I would just say this, because I've been out there, and I have a friend, if you'll excuse my language, he's got a blog called Food Douche, because he's such a snob about it. He lives right off Golden Gate Park. His name, he might be anonymous in the blog, so I will keep his name safe to protect the innocent. But we'll call him Larry Doff. We'll say his name is Larry Doff. That sounds good. And food and wine scene in New York is very competitive and discerning, but in San Francisco, I feel it's on this different level. It could have, with Napa right there, with all the great farmland, so on. But it's one of the most competitive, and I'll use the word again, discerning scenes in the country. What's the element that sets you apart and continues to drive those foodies like my buddy Larry Doff, for, let's just call him that, to this festival versus all the other culinary and gastronomic experiences that San Francisco and the Bay Area have to offer? What's driving them to you guys?
So one, I think a lot of it has to do with the mission, right, of the club and the event and the reason we're having this event and the support. The second, I think, is the location and the overall experience that we're putting out there. Okay. It's located on the old Navy base. Right. We have a brand new ferry terminal that opened up. So we have 2 ferry terminals that can come across from the North Bay, San Francisco, into Alameda. It's just, I think it's a unique event. There's Spirits Alley that is a block away from where we have our event that has 2 distilleries, several wineries, breweries, all of that. And so Alameda is a little destination spot for the foodie in that scene.
It's a festival. The whole place is a festival in itself.
Yeah. So it's a destination. So you can come to the festival, you can hit up the distilleries, a lot of other things in Alameda to do, and go across the bridge or a tunnel and you're in Oakland. Amazing scene there as well. So a lot of stuff for people to do.
We'll just call it the Alameda Festival from now on. Just being in the area is just it's just a festival of the senses, the food senses and drink senses. Now, last year, the festival was, I don't want to say canceled. And you were able to pivot and you did a virtual event. What did you do during the virtual and how did you work with your donors and with your exhibitors throughout that process and cheerlead that effort? Because it wasn't easy to get a lot of people. They're like, forget it. See you next year or see you whenever.
Yeah.
Because it's no matter what we try to do in the virtual world, it just wasn't the same. But what did you do to get people excited about it, cheerlead the whole thing to make it happen?
So again, we maximized on the success of the 2019 event. We had an online auction. So we reached out to our exhibitors from 2019, said we're having a virtual event. Can you donate some wine? Can you donate gift certificates to your restaurant? Even though, it was during the pandemic, people are still getting food to go, right? Yeah, you can't eat in, but the, to-go business was, booming in a lot of businesses. And so we did that. And we also do great outreach to support our past and current supporters through our email and social media. We highlight them. It's not just leading up to the event, it's kind of year round. And we encourage people to continue supporting those that came out and provided samples of food and things like that. It's
amazing. And now here we are, it's happening again in person. It's got to feel so great. I know what it was like to get back on a stage, do an auction, just get out of the virtual world. I mean, I've been living in this like Zoom box here, let me out.
Yep.
And it was just exciting to get out there and do it. So yeah, you mentioned a lot of these small businesses, restaurants, especially. I mean, they were hurt badly during this time, the pandemic. So what are you going to be doing now, to give them, and I know some didn't survive, which is awful, really sad and a shame in just too many ways. I know I have friends with restaurants here in New York that some just decided, forget it. The lease was coming up anyway. And they're like, I can't do it. And maybe it was just time for that place to close anyway. But many people just lost their life savings, their dreams, their hopes, all those things. So what kind of extra exposure or any kind of extra boost that you're giving anybody for these small businesses and these small brands to help them out?
So, with our event is that, we're highlighting the exhibitors on our social media platforms. We are, driving people to our website, which all of our exhibitors are listed, all of our sponsors are listed. We encourage every board meeting, we encourage all of our board to, visit our exhibitors, spend some money with them, give back. They're giving to us, but, we as an organization also give back to the community in different ways. And so we just keep supporting them. We're working with people in creative ways. I've got an exhibitor that has 2 places. They said they couldn't do their restaurant because it's just been really hard. But I asked if they could do their donut shop, and it's Donut Petite in Alameda. And they're like, yeah, we could do the donuts, right? Yeah. And so
that's my nickname for my belly is Donut Petite. It just hangs over my jeans. And I say, wait, you say Donut Petite.
but it's things like that. And I think we'll continue to work with vendors if they're kind of on the fence, see, hey, what can you do? If you can't, don't come out and give, tastings to people, a small gift certificate that we can bundle for an auction package. It gets great exposure to them. Other thing is that we are really working to expand our outreach on the media side of it, so that they also get exposure with our event getting exposure, like festivalPass,
yes.
with you.
I'm like, media. I know a podcast that, wait a minute, we're here. We're doing it. Yeah. Yeah, we can get you some exposure to our.
Like that. And so just being creative on that and how we can push it out. So ultimately it drives, more business to them.
And while we're talking about the press, is this something where you're looking? Because you call it a luxury festival, and you talk about the kind of clientele that's going to be there. And I believe if I can remember this correctly, I think the festival appeals to an affluent customer of luxury lifestyle goods and services. Is that, how'd I do?
You did good. Almost
yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So on that press, are you guys trying to attract like those oversized glossy magazines, like Modern Luxury's got San Francisco magazine, and I believe there's one for Wine Country as well.
Yeah. So in 2019, we did do some things with magazine and print ads, but most of the time with print ads, they cost some money. Yeah. And so we are very conscientious about, our budget and, spending dollars that get donated. And so, we look at other ways to do that, to expand our presence. We got a hit in the Marin Independent Journal for, I think it was the 9 Bay Area food festivals to look forward to this year, which got picked up by a couple other avenues. And so we have looked at the magazine, but not a whole lot so far this year.
Okay. Now, what about celebrity chefs? Whenever you hear about these kind of big food and wine and drink festivals, it's like, who's the celebrity chef that's going to be there? Is it Emerald? Like, who's the person that's going to be there? Is that something that it seems like this is more community based, more small business based? Is the celebrity chef drive people here, or is that just not a focus of this festival?
So we would love celebrity chefs. And I think for being such a young event, is that we have amazing potential to grow. And so, we market it as this, the affluent but it's not a pretentious event. It is super chill, super fun to attend. There's not a stigma, but we also want to set ourselves apart from, an art and wine festival on this downtown streets of your local city, right?
Yeah.
It is something special. But it is not, and so we want to attract that. We want to give them, the participants, the experience.
Yeah, give them something unique.
Yeah.
And then down the road, you're going to be shaking the celebrities' chefs off. You're like, just all right, enough Marcus Samuelson, enough Mark Murphy.
But I'll do a shameless pitch right now. If there's any celebrity chefs out there, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you.
Dave, there you go. David Mamafuko, whatever. Like, come on. Todd English. Yeah. Let's go.
Alice Waters,
Yeah. Come on. Give me some West Coast chefs. Let's go. Yeah. So they are a small business and local and everything else, but they're also open for you to come out and exhibit and bring some more exposure to the great work of the Boys and Girls Clubs in Alameda. Absolutely. While we were talking about these small businesses and so on, and while we're talking about recovery and these small businesses, of course, you have those celebrity chefs or somebody like that. You have those big attractions. It's going to bring people in from all over the place. So what kind of economic impact does this festival have on the Bay Area and specifically right there in Alameda?
So our participant, 2019, we had over 1,000 attendees at the event. Wow. And so when you look at it, you talk about, small business, right?
Yeah.
And foodies and the food scene, right? You can look at the Bay Area and even New York, there's a lot of small, local food businesses that are just blowing up the scene, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing pop-ups, right? But they sell out every day. And so, you have 1,000 people descending on Alameda for the afternoon, and maybe they come from a little bit farther away, they stay, and they make it a weekend in the Bay Area, or they visit the vendors. They, have dinner on Sunday before they go home. They sign up for wine clubs of our local, wineries here in Alameda and Oakland. And so I think it's a big boost to the local economy and small businesses, and even our larger, bigger entities here in the area.
So does the county tourism board get involved? Do they sponsor? Do they give you guys any kind of grants or anything like that to get this to get more attention to the festival?
That's a very good idea.
Yeah. Hey, we're driving 6,000 hotel rooms, nights, 6,000 nights or something. I don't know. That math is way off, but yeah, you quantify that kind of thing. You go to them and you're like, look, I know it's been a rough couple years for everybody here, but we're driving 1,000 people here. We're supporting small business. There's a philanthropic arm to this, which is the main driver of the whole thing. And all the money is staying right here in the community. We're not a New York organization. I hate those New Yorkers, right? They can't stand them. But we didn't fly in here with event planners from out of town and we're heading out afterwards. Like, we live here. We're trying to make our community better.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of it, is that there's so many things that we can do with this event, and every year it's going to get better and better.
But speaking of better and better, a VIP experience makes everything better.
Yeah.
So sell me on the idea. Say I'm coming. October is looking good for me.
Okay.
There's nothing like Northern California in October. Holy cow. So why should I come out there and pay the extra money for this VIP package instead of just getting a general admission ticket?
Well, Pat, everybody likes to feel special, right? Even as a little bit, right? You'll shell out some money.
All right. Already I'm feeling good.
To feel special, get a little extra attention. But our VIP is actually, you get an hour before all the general admission. So you get first dibs at all the food and wine tastings. Less people in line. You can get in there, get all the good food at first. We also have a special VIP area that we're working to create a VIP experience, right?
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more. I like experience.
Right, special amenities in the tent, shaded areas, tables, chairs, so that you can go kick your feet up, relax a little bit, and then go out, grab some more stuff, listen to the band, kind of be pampered a little bit while you're drinking your wine, having your beer, and noshing on some food.
Okay, put me down for 2.
Okay.
So you mentioned the music. Okay, that's your rhythm and the brews. I've got my brew in hand. What kind of music am I listening to?
So we have a great partnership with a band called the Love Handles.
The Love Handles, which goes nicely with my petite donut.
Yes. Yeah. See, we like to tie everything together. No, they are an amazing, they have like 10 to 13 people in the band. They are extremely entertaining. They perform dance hits and music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They really just tug on those memory strings to those classic songs that you just sit there and you bop your head and you're out there dancing and having a great time.
Oh, okay. So I got my VIP ticket and I got my music. I'm ready for my love handles and my love handles as well. This is a warm up for Halloween. I think it's that's a holiday that, people don't eat enough on Halloween. I think this could be a pre-Halloween kind of fest very early in the month and so on. But, we were discussing before about the affluent crowd and all this that are going to be there. But when I think of that crowd, immediately I think a bit of privilege and, hey, are we going to get back here? And you're like, of course, that is the ethos of this entire festival is philanthropy and giving back to the Boys and Girls Club. But like in a year like last year, and then looking at the fundraising you're going to have to do this year in particular, how important are these funds for the Alameda Boys and Girls Clubs?
So they're very important. This is our annual fundraiser. That it brings in the majority of the funds to help support the programming and the kids at the club.
Yeah, and they're doing this year round. The Boys and Girls Clubs doesn't take summer break. They're not closed for 2 weeks in December. They are always open, and major success stories have come out.
And we were even open and providing support through the pandemic of last year. And so it's important. It's our, usually nonprofits have your one major fundraiser and then a couple of the others throughout the year to help supplement operations, but this is our major one. So it is important. We want it to be successful.
A majority of the budget comes from the fundraising from this event. Folks, this is why it's so important. I mean, I'm not asking you to write a check and then get nothing for it. I'm asking you to come out and have fun and listen to the love handles and get your VIP extra hour of tastings and wines. California's best chefs are going to be there. Celebrity or not, who cares? And you're going to leave there feeling full, and your heart's going to be feeling pretty full as well, because you supported this club that has made the difference in, I know they have stats for this, but I'm just going to say countless young lives. And you see it years later, Jennifer Lopez, Denzel Washington, people who they're like, I was without the club, I don't know what would have happened to me. Would I have got in with the wrong crowd? Who knows? But it really changes lives. And I've worked with the Boys and Girls Clubs on both coasts. Now as I was telling you, I'm going to be up in Nantucket later on this summer, hosting an event for them. Now I got to get down to Texas so I can cover the whole country, Northwest, South.
Four corners.
Yeah, I got to get like down in Houston or something. I got some friends there. We'll work that out. And on that note, hey, let's promote me for a second. I'm an auctioneer, but immediately when I was on your website, I was like driven. I was like, ooh, live auction or auction. So I click on the auction button and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what it is. There's nothing there right now. So I was like, what a tease. It
actually, I think went live today.
Oh, I must have just missed it.
Click back in.
Well, I'm going to get back in after this. Okay. End of the interview. I'm going back in. No.
So all right, we're gradually building those auction items. And then we'll hit a push on it a couple of weeks, in advance of the event to really drive people to there as well.
All right. So you teased us about the VIP. Now tease me about some of these awesome auction items I can get for the foodie. So if Larry Dorff, local food blogger Larry Dorff in San Francisco wants to come to this event, he's going to want to bid on, he's a very generous guy. He's going to want to bid on some of this stuff. So tease him with a great, radio, they say, is an audience of one. So are podcasts, same thing. So tease Larry with something that he could bid on for a great food experience. Just, you don't have to be exact in the details, but just give us the highlights.
So I think Larry can look forward to some really great wines at, great pricing while you're supporting. Lots of dining packages. You get a series of gift certificates for local restaurants. Things like that. Just, food packages. We're making them unique and creative. Right. So you guys are like, oh, I need that. maybe
a chef experience at your house or something like that.
Yes, we have done that. And somebody hosts a dinner provided by one of our local chefs with 10 of your closest friends. Out on the patio, and enjoying the evening with a great culinary experience. So, Yep.
Well, there you go, Larry. Another reason to go and spend some money and support the Boys and Girls Club. You can't get enough of it.
We also have some vacation packages often,
Okay.
Condo in Hawaii, if you want to get back to traveling, those things like that.
We talked about pent-up demand with festivals. Holy cow, pent-up demand with travel. Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii. So maybe that's something I should, perhaps I should bid on.
Yeah.
Now tell me all about it. How can we find out more about the festival? Get tickets. And speaking of that, would it be too pushy if I ask for maybe I don't know, a discount, a special code for the Festival Pass Stories fans out there? Because they're out there. And our Festival Pass members, could they get a special code perhaps to get tickets for the Corks Forks Rhythm and Delicious Brews Fest?
Well, Pat, you're twisting my arm, but I think absolutely.
Yes.
We can put out there, and if you go to Corks Forks on thepoint.com.
Corks Forks on the point. Okay. .com. Don't forget the .com. Okay.
And you can enter in when you check out on your tickets, Media 21 for a 20% off tickets and packages.
Media 21, is it
Media 21.
All capitals or anything like that?
All capitals, Media 21.
Okay. Media, all capitals, 21. The 21 is always capitals. There's no lowercase numbers. I'm glad that's, yeah, that would be weird. Like a one with an I. Way too confusing. All right, folks. All caps, Media 21. That is for Festival Pass Stories fans and members. Check it out. 20% off. Now, have to get the VIP tickets now.
Yes.
Yes. And how would we find you on? You mentioned earlier your social media, that you're doing lots of promotions on there. Instagram seems to be the one besides TikTok, which I'm banned for because I danced and they were like, you already said nobody wants you to sing. Nobody wants you to dance either, Pat. So anyway, I'm on Instagram, which now it's like Instagram just lost 1 million people. They're like, yeah, old guys are on Instagram. Oh no, they went from Facebook to Instagram. Oh no, they're coming for our TikTok next. No. It's the place to be. But where can we find you on Instagram?
Same thing. If you just type in Corks Forks on the point or Corks Forks Rhythm and Brews, it'll pop up where you can scroll. You can see our stories that we post, highlighting, our exhibitors, and then, our regular posts giving details about the event.
All right, Rhythm and Brews, and see yous, guys. See Rhythm and Brews and yous. In New York, we say yous. Yous. There's 2 Utes, right? Anyway, Rhythm and Brews and yous. Get there. It's coming up. What exactly are the dates?
It is Saturday, October 2nd.
2021.
2021.
Love the sound of that year. It's been a good one so far. And folks, we will see you there, VIP style, with the brews in hand, listening to the love handles. And we'll see everybody next time on Festival Pass Stories. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thanks for having me.
This is Festival Pass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next.